Historically, Argentina and Brazil are two of the most successful football nations in the world. Argentina are the current World Cup champions, while Brazil are the only team to have lifted the trophy on 5 occasions. But due to investment, politics and economics, Argentinian and Brazilian football have never looked more different at domestic and continental level. So, what's behind the differing fortunes of South America's heavyweights? Hello and welcome to Football Now from the Al Bayt Stadium in Qatar. Since 2019, Argentinian and Brazilian football have been on diverging paths. It's one of the paradoxes and ironies of the modern day game, where the success of a country's domestic league is one thing and the form of its national team is very much another. In the international game, Argentina are undisputedly the best nation team in the world and are the current FIFA World Cup title holders, and have won the last 2 editions of the Copa America. Meanwhile, Brazil's FIFA ranking has dropped to 5th in the world, their lowest since 2016, and are currently 5th in the South American World Cup qualification table. However, in that time at domestic level, Brazilian clubs have won 6 Copa Libertadores tournaments, with Botafogo representing the South American Confederation at the recent FIFA Intercontinental Cup in Qatar. And according to Opta, the official statistics provider, 5 Brazilian clubs are currently ranked within the top 100 in the world, with the best club from Argentina, River Plate, a lowly 123rd on this same list. So how have Brazil become so dominant domestically in South America, despite the national team's struggles?
On a domestic level, Brazilian teams are now welcoming investors from outside. Look at Botafogo with John Textor, who owns multiple clubs. He's broken the transfer record twice, and this year bringing in Thiago Almada and Luis Enrique from Atlanta United and Real Betis respectively, where Argentinian sides, they haven't completely opened their arms yet to this investment. Now, this is why we're seeing such a huge gap. And this is why Brazilian teams are dominating the competition, and they should be looking at Brazil and looking at how that league has advanced. And I can't see that changing until Argentinian sides and fans realise that they need investment if they are to keep up.
While Brazil's league system is attracting big names and money, the majority of Argentina's clubs are still fan-owned, which means they're missing out on that much-needed cash injection. As well as this, the new look league has removed the real threat of team relegation, meaning a certain competitive edge is missing.
But I think this whole debate, it really shows how league football has uncoupled itself in a globalised age from national team football, because domestic Argentine football is in an absolute shambles. It's an absolute mess, and they've decided this year no one's going to get relegated this year. They make these things up on the fly. It's really in a poor state, and yet Argentina are the world champions. And if you look at the squad that won the World Cup, I think it was only one player who was based in Argentina. There has never been this kind of one nation domination of the tournament, and it's a real worry. It looks very hard to see how the rest of the continent can compete with Brazil.
In contrast to the troubles in their domestic leagues, Argentina's international success continues unabated. Lionel Messi, though, will be 39 years old by the time the next World Cup comes around, so there's talk he won't make an appearance at the competition at all. One man doesn't make a team, but can Argentina's dominance on the international stage really continue without him?
I think it's a great question. I honestly don't know. I mean, he said before the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, this is it, this is my final chance. But the reality is, what we've found is Messi is enjoying his time in Argentina finally. So I think he actually will go. I could see him going and winning it again. And if he wins it again, he's won 2, which means he's won 1 more than Maradona, and he really is the greatest player of all time. There isn't going to be another player like him. And I think that to try and plan for after him, it's almost a bit silly, because it's like, enjoy what you've got. Like, what do they plan for? I don't know. So Argentina's still stacked with great talent, but the idea that you'll find another Messi, it's just a myth. The story is so crazy at this point that it could get crazier, but it could also just drop off and be like, right, you had your moment. 2022 was it.
While Messi's status as the most influential player of his generation continues to grow, Brazil's top talent struggle to put it all together on the big stage, despite them boasting some of the greatest forwards in the world, such as Neymar and Vinicius Jr. So what has been behind the recent downturn in results?
So, very difficult question, and there's a lot of layers to this. Vinicius Junior's wildly underperformed in a Brazilian shirt. He's openly admitted he struggled playing for Brazil, the pressure. Like he said, the shirt weighs heavy on him, and I'd say at the moment there's just a lack of good Brazilian coaches, which is probably why we have seen the demise of Brazil at the moment. And let's not forget, Neymar's been out injured for the last 12 months, and I think a lot of people have realised now without Neymar, they have struggled and they do really need him. Maybe his value was a little bit underrated. There seems to be a divide between Brazilian fans and the team because 99% of the team up until the last couple of months were based in Europe, and there's a lack of affiliation there.
So an interesting year ahead then. If you're a fan of South American football, do you prefer La Albiceleste or La Seleção? Let us know using the hashtag #FootballNowSouthAmerica. That's all we've got time for though here from the Al Bayt Stadium in Qatar. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.